Last winter, 47 Americans froze to death indoors during the Texas grid failure. Not outside, inside their own homes, with blankets, with clothing, with everything except one thing that actually generates heat when the power is gone. The average American home loses heat through the walls, windows, and ceiling so fast that without a furnace running, interior temperature drops to outside levels within 6 to 8 hours. In a winter storm, that means a house that was 68 degrees at noon is 35 degrees by midnight. There is a heating method that costs $8 to build, uses no electricity, no gas, no propane, and no special fuel. It generates enough radiant heat to keep a small room survivable through the coldest night. It has been used in Siberia, Scandinavia, and rural Korea for centuries, and the reason nobody in America knows about it anymore is the same reason nobody knows how to do anything without a utility bill attached to it. I am going to show you exactly how to build it, what fuel to use, how to stay safe, and how to scale it for different room sizes. First, understand what you are actually fighting in a cold room so you know exactly where to aim the heat. Cold does not come in, heat goes out. Your body generates heat constantly, about 100 watts at rest, same as a light bulb. The problem is your walls, windows, and floor are pulling that heat away from you faster than your body can replace it. There are 3 ways heat escapes a room. Conduction, heat moving through solid material like walls and floors directly into the cold outside. Convection, warm air rising to the ceiling and pulling cold air in underneath doors and gaps. Radiation, your body radiating heat outward to every cold surface around it, which is why a cold room feels cold even when the air temperature is not that extreme. The $8 system attacks all 3. It creates a radiant heat source inside the room. It reduces the volume of air you need to heat, and it redirects heat toward your body instead of letting it escape into the ceiling. Here's what you build first, the terracotta pot heater. This is the core of the system. What it does is take a small flame from a candle or alcohol burner and multiply its effective radiant heat output by storing that heat in dense ceramic and releasing it slowly in all directions, instead of letting it rise straight to the ceiling and disappear. Here's what you need. 2 terracotta pots, 1 small, 4-inch diameter, 1 medium, 6 or 8-inch diameter, both available at any dollar store, garden center, or hardware store. Total cost, $2 to $4. 4 metal bolts, 1/2-inch diameter, 3 inches long, with nuts and washers. Cost, under $2 at any hardware store. 4 tea light candles or 1 larger pillar candle. Cost, $1 to $2. A metal tray, baking pan, or any fireproof surface to set this on. Cost, $1 at any dollar store. Total, $6 to $9 depending on what you already have at home. Here's how to build it, step by step. Step 1. Take the small terracotta pot. Push 1 bolt through the drainage hole in the bottom from the inside out. Secure it with a washer and nut on the outside. This bolt becomes a handle you can use to move the hot pot without burning your hands. The pot will get extremely hot. Never touch the ceramic directly during operation. Step 2. Stack the remaining 3 bolts upright on your metal tray, spread in a triangle pattern. These are your spacers. They hold the pot off the tray surface so air can circulate underneath and reach the candles. Step 3. Place your candles on the metal tray in the center of the bolt triangle. Step 4. Set the small terracotta pot upside down over the candles, resting on the 3 spacer bolts. The pot should sit about an inch above the tray surface. Air feeds the candle flames through that gap. Step 5. Set the large terracotta pot upside down over the small one. The larger pot should rest on the rim of the tray or on additional bolts, leaving a gap between the 2 pots. That air gap is what makes this system work. Heat from the inner pot transfers to the outer pot through convection in that gap, turning the entire outer surface into a radiant heater. Step 6. Light the candles through the gap at the base before you set the pots down, or use a long lighter through the side gap after assembly. That is the entire build. 2 pots, 4 bolts, a tray, and candles. $8. Here is what happens when you run it. The candle flames heat the inner pot. The inner pot reaches 250 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit within 20 minutes. That heat transfers to the outer pot. The outer pot surface reaches 160 to 180 degrees and radiates heat outward in all directions continuously. 4 tea light candles burning inside this system produce roughly the same radiant heat output as a 40 to 50 watt space heater. That sounds modest. But understand what you are actually doing with it. You are not heating the whole house. You are not heating the whole room. You are creating a radiant heat source that warms everything within a 6-foot radius, including your body directly, the same way the sun warms you on a cold day even when the air temperature is freezing. Sit within 4 feet of this system and you will feel warm, even if the room air temperature is 45 degrees. Here's how to make it work harder. The room reduction method. The biggest mistake people make in a cold emergency is trying to heat too much space. A furnace can heat 2,000 square feet. This system heats a 10 by 10 foot area effectively, so reduce your space to match your heat source. Pick one interior room. Interior rooms share walls with other heated spaces on more sides and lose heat slowest. Bedroom or bathroom. Avoid rooms with large windows or exterior walls on multiple sides. Hang a heavy blanket over the doorway. This creates a thermal barrier that cuts the room off from the rest of the cold house. You just reduce the volume you need to heat by 80 to 90%. Put a rolled towel along the bottom of the door gap. Cold air pours in through door gaps at floor level constantly. Block it. Cover any windows with a blanket or heavy curtain pressed flat against the glass. Windows bleed heat 10 times faster than insulated walls. Covering them cuts your heat loss in half immediately. Now run your terracotta heater in the corner of that reduced space. A 10 by 10 room that is properly sealed retains heat from this system well enough to stay 20 to 30 degrees warmer than the outside temperature overnight. At outside temperatures of 20 degrees Fahrenheit, that means your room stays at 45 to 50 degrees. Cold but survivable. With sleeping bags or layered blankets on a bed that holds body heat, completely manageable through the night. Here's the safety section. Do not skip this. Any open flame indoors produces carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, and kills without warning. Rule 1. Never run this system in a completely sealed space with no air exchange at all. You need passive ventilation. Crack a window 1 inch on the opposite side of the room from the heater. That single crack provides enough fresh air exchange to keep CO levels safe while retaining most of the heat benefit. Rule 2. Never sleep with this running unattended without a carbon monoxide detector in the room. A battery-powered CO detector costs $15 to $20 and is the single most important safety addition to any indoor heating system. If you do not have one, get one before you need this system. Rule 3. Keep the tray on a stable flat surface where it cannot be knocked over. Candle fire on a floor or bed is a different emergency entirely. Rule 4. Never use this in a tent or vehicle. Enclosed spaces with no air exchange will reach lethal CO levels within minutes. Those 4 rules make this system safe. Ignore any one of them, and you have replaced a cold problem with a worse one. Here's the alcohol burner upgrade for more heat. If tea light candles are not generating enough heat for your space, swap them for a small alcohol burner. A tin alcohol burner costs $5 to $8 at any camping supply store or online. Fuel is denatured alcohol, available at hardware stores for $8 to $10 per quart. 1 quart of denatured alcohol burns for approximately 6 to 8 hours in a small burner. It produces roughly 3 times the heat output of 4 tea light candles. At that output, the outer terracotta pot reaches 250 degrees, and the 6-foot warming radius becomes a 10-foot warming radius. Total upgraded system cost, under $20. Total fuel cost per night, approximately $1.50. The same safety rules apply. Crack a window, run a CO detector, stable surface, never unattended during sleep. Here is your action plan for right now. This week, go to a dollar store or garden center and buy 2 terracotta pots, 4-inch and 6 or 8-inch. Pick up 4 bolts from any hardware store and a pack of tea light candles. Assemble the system in your living room and run it for 1 hour with a window cracked. Feel what it does. Know how it works before you need it. This month, add a battery-powered carbon monoxide detector to your prep kit if you do not already have one. Add 1 quart of denatured alcohol and a small tin burner for the upgraded version. Store everything together in one box labeled Winter Emergency Kit. Before the next winter storm, identify your one room, your smallest interior room with the fewest windows. Put a heavy blanket near the door. Know where your rolled towels are. Practice the room reduction setup once so it takes you 5 minutes, not 45 when it is dark and cold and the power just went out. Last winter, Texas showed 47 families what happens when you assume the grid stays on. $8 in one afternoon is the difference between that and staying warm. Subscribe. Next week, I am covering the single insulation material you can harvest for free from your own yard. Right now, that the Scandinavians used to keep homes above freezing through -40-degree winters long before central heating existed.